As you can see, I am ready in my apron, in my kitchen. Well, I'm always in my kitchen, but in my kitchen to make the legendary, delicious, iconic IKEA Christmas ginger snap cookies. They are so freaking good. We haven't had a chance to go to IKEA, and the nearest one to us is like over an hour away. So I have decided, oh, my charging cable. So I have decided that I will try my best to make these wonderful snippy snappy ginger cookies right here at home without IKEA present. So this is originally a Scandinavian recipe. It's very classic. It is kind of like the statement cookie over there, which is obviously why IKEA stock it alongside all the other incredible goodies like the meatballs and all the other delicious foods that they offer. I found a recipe online. It's not by IKEA, but it is an authentic Swedish recipe. So hopefully these come out perfectly. And for the first time ever with a cooking segment on my channel, I have already pre-measured, pre-packaged all of our ingredients in true Blue Peter fashion. Here are the ones that I measured earlier. So we can get straight into the fun stuff, which is the actual baking, creating amazingness. I am missing one ingredient, so I'm gonna substitute it, which might let everything down. So it's ground cardamom. Cardamom? I cannot find it in any supermarket, so it says you can substitute it for ground nutmeg. We will see how that goes. But anyway, I'm so excited. These aren't going to take too long to make, so let's get started. Right, in usual Paulina baking fashion, I need to stand up for this, otherwise I feel like I can't focus. So the first thing that we need to do is blend the butter and the allspices in a large bowl with an electric whisk. My very secret arch nemesis. As you guys know, I'm teensy bit afraid of this little thing. Also, I forgot to mention that once I've done this initial bit, it needs to sit in the fridge for 8 hours. So I'm gonna have to finish this off tomorrow. However, still very excited to get started. Butter. So it is a tablespoon of cinnamon. No, I had to adjust this recipe. I'm glad I checked. When I was gathering all the ingredients, I just went off of what they had on the website. And I was thinking, it seems like a lot of flour. So it asked for 500 grams of flour. I was like, just for a few cookies? That's crazy. Well, it comes out that the recipe is for 100 cookies. And I'm so glad I checked, because there's just 2 of us in the house that would be eating those, and that is way, way, way too many. Plus, I've never made these before, so I don't know if they're going to be good. So I could have made loads and then given them out around the neighborhood, but no, it is way too risky for our first try. So I have asked ChatGPT, my bestie, to update it for me to be suited for around 30 cookies, which I think is a lot more reasonable. So we need a teaspoon of cinnamon. So it'd be a 1/4 teaspoon of the cloves, a teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, but we are substituting with nutmeg. I'll do a little less because it's apparently a bit stronger than cardamom. And I think that's everyone. So let's get this guy set up and start blending all of that together. It's pretty much just like creaming the butter. Let's get our little mixers. They're back here somewhere. There we go. I'm gonna put these in. I'm gonna make sure that is actually switched off this time rather than blending all around the room. 0. I'm gonna mush the butter down a bit because mine's not quite room temperature, but it's close enough, just so that hopefully blends a bit easier. Let's get blending. So we now need to melt the kind of like sugary mixture inside this little pan. I haven't weighed out the molasses, which actually is something also I've never ever used or heard of. So it's this thing. Well, actually no, I think I got black treacle. I don't know if molasses is like I don't know actually. But anyway, so we've got this, which is like a really thick consistency. I have never ever ever used this, seen it, anything. It's kind of scary looking, like look at that. So I need 18 grams of this black treacle stuff. So I'm gonna pop that in here. Ooh, that is thick. It kind of looks like medicine. Oh God, I'm gonna get this everywhere, aren't I? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And nearly at 18. I wonder what it tastes like. I reckon it's just really sweet. Okay, that's strong. God, that's not nice. Do not eat this on its own. Okay, so now we're gonna chuck in the rest of our pre-measured ingredients. Got the maple syrup. Our sugar, and then we've got some water as well. So we're gonna just turn the heat on and give that a stir until it all kind of melts together. So I need to stir all this together so it's all completely kind of like melted into one another. And then this will cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll see you guys then. So we're now moving on to the final step of today, which is to blend this flour bicarbonate of soda mixture with this kind of like sugary concoction. So I'm gonna do it a little bit at a time. So I'm gonna add the flour into this bowl because I don't think it's all going to fit in here, and I feel safer blending this one anyway. So we're gonna add a little bit in here, blend it, and then add the, oh, okay, well, I'll do all of it then. I did not leave enough in that bowl. It is looking perfect. I actually kind of thought that it baked into this color and it started off like a light biscuit, but it looks like we're starting off with the dark one. So that's all that can be done today. This is our little mixture. I'm gonna put some cling film over the top of this and put it in the fridge until tomorrow. Also, I don't know why it's taken me my whole entire life to learn this, but I didn't know that with cling film, you're supposed to make like a little drum on top. It wasn't until my boyfriend started doing it that I was like, that is so cool and so airtight. There's our mixture of the cling film on, into the fridge it goes. And I'll see you guys in 8 hours, or with some editing magic, about a millisecond. So it's now the next day. The mixture has had a very long time in the fridge to kind of firm up and do whatever it needs to be. Also, I can't remember which headband I was wearing yesterday, so now I'm wearing this one, so if it's a different one to yesterday, just pretend. This is our mixture. It literally looks identical to how it did when I first put it in there. But I imagine the fact that it's cold and a bit firm, it will help it kind of crisp up when it goes inside the oven. So the only other thing I don't have is a rolling pin, but I do have a clay rolling pin, which I'm hoping will achieve the same effect. I mean, I've got plenty of flour, so I'm sure I could make this work in some way. I've got a little baking tray set up with my baking sheet just here. And then we've got our cookie cutters, plenty of those, so we can do lots of different shapes. I don't really have another baking tray that's similar to this, so we'll probably do them in small batches, but they only cook for like 5 to 6 minutes. So it'll be a really quick kind of like chuck in the oven, take it out, put the next one in, etc, etc. Start with a bit of flour on our base here. Okay, let's blob this guy onto here. Oh, it's pretty damn firm. I can't get it out of here, I'm not even kidding. I need some more utensils. God, I'm bending a spoon. Oh, here it is. So it's definitely supposed to be like very cold and refrigerated, because it says in between each small batch to put it in the fridge to make sure it remains cold. So I've either done something really wrong, or this is what it's supposed to be. Oh my God. Ooh, they smell very good. Yeah, here we go. So they need to be rolled out very, very thin. So on the recipe it says about 2 millimeters, and I know that these are supposed to be very skinny cookies. Tuffy's literally just underneath the table waiting for everything to fall down. So I'm constantly dropping like little flour or bits of this cookie. I'm gonna try and make a little cookie. And then that's how this one's come out. So it is actually probably the right thickness. If maybe a little too thick, I'm not sure, but I'll pop him here. I'm not really much of a baker, so I don't know if the fact that there is like so much flour, if that's gonna cause an issue, but I guess we can make a second batch after this. Ooh, got our snowflake. There is our tree. I've made like actual like chocolate chip cookies that don't matter, but these are very like specific, and there was a whole process and all these things to consider. I am a little nervous that they're gonna come out rubbish, but it is the thought that counts, learning something new, all of that, positive vibes. is our first batch going in for 5 to 6 minutes. Let's see how these guys come out. It has now been 6 minutes, so let's see. Ooh, okay, so they've definitely fattened up a little bit. Probably not as crispy as they could be, actually. So I think I'm gonna put mine in for a bit longer. I'll show you guys a bit closer. This is what they're looking like. Some of these here you can tell are like really, really thick, and they're definitely not crisping. But some of the thinner ones are looking better, but this definitely needs to go back in the oven.
1 eternity later.
So here are our little ginger snap Christmas cookies all done. I did kind of burn that second batch because I somehow accidentally flicked the temperature to 250 degrees. These are only supposed to bake at 190. So yeah, you see where that went wrong, but I did manage to save them. And actually when I did a count, I've managed to make 29 out of the recipe, despite having to sacrifice some of that very over-floured mixture that I ended up with in the end. So maybe it was the perfect amount and I did the perfect things, but it is now time for a taste test. These ones I've now cooled. The ones that have been burnt are cooling, so they're not going to enter my beautiful little plate of cookies. So I'm going to try the beheaded reindeer. So this fell off as it was cooking. It does have like a gingery smell to it. It's definitely very different to the ones that you get from IKEA, which is a shame. I don't think I'll be able to achieve those. They're also done so thin, and these ones are definitely a bit thicker, but do they taste good? Oh yeah. No, these are definitely very, very good. They have the exact same flavor and texture as the IKEA ones, but I'm pretty proud of these. I think they look pretty cute. You can also put icing on them, but I quite like them just plain. That's what is my IKEA nostalgia. So I'm gonna keep them as they are and try not to eat them all in one sitting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.